There's another extra piece too that you didn't mention. Maybe you were going to. I'm going to mention it for you. Is that the eyeballs that you get on listings when you're working with us is Lake Expo, which is the #1 media source down here, and then Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle, which has arguably as many eyeballs as any social channel down here. So it's a lot of attention that we will bring on your property.
It's insane the amount of exposure that, you know, us being partnered with you and pushing those properties out with you between your YouTube,
TikTok,
your
Instagram,
Instagram, all that is so much. We thought we used to do a really good job with our Facebook and social media. Once we got linked up with Lake Expo and then witnessed the exposure that we can get for our sellers was 10 times instantly.
Yeah. Jesse, if one didn't know any better, they might think we're still on the boat from the July update.
If one didn't know any better, they'd think that you're in cahoots with Bird and Langmore. You riding that ticket through the fall?
I mean, since you segued there, find me a better candidate. I mean, I know who I'm going to vote for, but let's be honest. I think we could probably find some. I mean, it's like the lesser of two evils. I think for the most part, as if we're going to go down the political realm, which I know you probably don't want to. If you haven't seen this before, we do have a line of hats. And yeah, we're just having some fun, and you know, you can have some fun too. If you're a big Ozark fan, why not?
Yeah.
So Jesse, it's September. We're supposed to be sad and depressed, and I kind of am.
Not yet.
But we're on the water.
Trees are still green.
Trees are still green. It's early September, obviously, which is basically still summer. I think for most people, summer unofficially ends after Labor Day.
Unofficially.
Because of school. I mean, actually, it kind of ends mid-August for anybody who has kids that are in sports.
Yeah, being full-time down here, we don't have that feeling. But we still get days in the 90s in October.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of beautiful, to me, this is some of the best boating of the season. When you still have these really warm days, the lake's nice and warm, you can go cove out, jump in, not a lot of boat traffic out. Yeah, and you got warm days. I mean, how do you beat that?
You don't.
Look at it, we're out here on a Thursday afternoon and it feels like we got the lake to ourselves.
Kind of do. We kind of do. Well, so I tell you what, we are now a couple minutes into this recording. We've already made it further than the last one as far as the camera tipping over, because the last video we tried to record on a Sunday. Now here we are on a Thursday, as you mentioned, and this is glorious.
This is as good as it gets.
Yeah, I just posted on my stories, I said some studios are better than others. And this is definitely qualifies as one of those studios. So, as a listener, follower, audience, I'm curious, when does lake season end for you? So for many, it's middle of August. For many others, it's Labor Day. And for some, it's whenever it gets cold. So this is a great example, and I think the weekends, and you could speak to this more than I can, but you come down here the weekend after Labor Day, any of the weekends in September, you're going to get some boating action, but you're going to have a lot more openness in these waters.
Yeah, the weekdays, I mean, it's beautiful. We have a lake to ourselves right now, and it's 88 degrees out this afternoon. So it doesn't get any better than this. Once we get a little bit deeper in this season, more and more of the establishments won't be open through the weekday. It'll become more and more weekend centric, and Lake Expo does a pretty good job of keeping people up to date on changing business hours for lake establishments. But yeah, this is my favorite time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of although I love a good cold plunge, I'm kind of a cold water sissy in the springtime. I'm not always in a hurry to get into the lake, you know, in May. But September, October, it's still warm weather.
You strike me as a guy that would have a cold plunge at your house.
No, man, it's on Annie's list.
Really?
If she could just get me to work a little bit harder, she could. she'd get more knocked off that list.
So let's talk about September for a minute. By the time this comes out, the air show will have already happened. So that happens the weekend after Labor at the Camdenton Airport, and that's from what I understand. I've never been. It's pretty cool. They've got some pretty awesome planes that take part. They've got some MiG F-17 that's going to be flying. That's like the showcase this year.
Yeah, that'd be something else to see.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've been to one of those. I know that we had a conflict about 10 years ago when we were getting married, and our caterer, Angela's Catering, which is right across from the airport, has fantastic lunch, buffet style, and we get these frozen lasagnas from there, like the best kept secret at the lake. You can keep a frozen lasagna from there, thaw it out, cook it. It feeds 15 people easy.
Really?
Best, I'm telling you. Speaking of that,
specific catering only, not like a restaurant.
She has a little dine-in area there. It was the old Electrovert building, but it's right across from the Camdenton Airport. But that brings up that this September 20th is my 10-year anniversary for me and Annie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And we're going to celebrate on the 21st.
21st at the Champagne Campaign for the Community Foundation of the Lake.
So we're jumping ahead. We'll go back to, we don't want to miss out on the bike events, but
yeah, we got
tell us a little bit about
up.
the charitable event on the 21st that you're a part of that committee.
Part of Community Foundation at the Lake. So last year through their grant rounds, so back up a little bit. Community Foundation at the Lake, they are a charitable organization that support other charitable organizations within the Tri-County community. So Camden County, Miller County, Morgan County, and you can make charitable contributions to them. They have endowment funds, and then they have grant rounds spring and fall, and local charities send us information in asking we have these projects coming up, we would like this funding, that funding for this, and this. We go through those and support the local charities in the community. So for me, as a local, there's so many needs in the area that it's just very hard to comb through which organization do I want to support and how do I know that I'm going through a good organization. So it served a much bigger purpose if I went through Community Foundation of the Lake, and they had a system and a process for that. So this coming September 21st, it's on a Saturday, Champagne Campaign. This is their only and their biggest fundraiser for the year. They'll have live auction, silent auction, entertainment.
There's food. I know Papo's is one of
Mamacitas will be providing dinner. So that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions on that, I'm sure my contact info will be down in the links on this. Jesse at lakefrontliving.com. Cell phone number is 573-260-0868. I'd be happy to send you information on the dinner, or if you want to be a sponsor and support the area and get some more exposure into the area.
I was going to say, who wants to go to this? Business owners?
Business owners,
just random Lakers?
Community supporters, people that really care about their community and just not being a taker, and want to be a giver to their area as well.
That's one of the most probably underrated things about the Lake of the Ozarks. It gets a bad rap, but when you think about things like the shootout, where you've got people that spend millions of dollars on these boats. You can just use American Ethanol as an example. The guy runs that boat once a year, probably spends millions into it just to bring it here, to run it, to entertain people, to raise money.
Yeah.
That's it. And everybody gives it such a bad rap, but it's like these, countless comments about how, the economy must be doing well, or somebody commented yesterday. That's why, this is what he said, that's why you haven't gotten a raise, talking to just the average person, because your boss is spending all the money on their boat. But it's like, come on, people, like, why do you, it's always cup half empty with so many people.
Yeah, that's just a closed mindset and a scarcity mindset. So for the guy, just as an example with American Ethanol, if he would have donated the money that he had into the boat, that's one time. Instead of leveraging that entertainment over the years and bringing it so much more for that, just spread through the community.
Yeah, it's a great way to think about it. Let's get back to the events. So you've got Hot Summer Nights. Will have already passed. That's this coming Friday, so it's the Friday after Labor Day. And then Bike Fest is a really big deal. I'm not a Harley guy. I'm not a biker. I really would love to come down and witness it, though. It's like basically on the strip, it's just going to be lined probably from top to bottom, kind of like the street party with motorcycles.
There's so many more. I've never been to Sturgis. This has to be somewhere close to.
Imagine.
To the. I mean, just the mass amount of bikes that are here is amazing.
Yeah.
And I've seen. It's been a while. Probably last year. I'm sure you could research the history on Lake Expo. Just the amount of money that is brought in from this one event is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
And for the community to get together, and I'm not sure who puts on Bike Fest, but whoever does that, the local entities that come together to decide, hey, we should do a bike rally this fall. The amount of money that brings in is just staggering, especially for a post Labor Day event.
Yeah, you're right. You know, and that brings up the last thing I'll mention, and we'll get into the market data, which is there are things that are going on at the Lake of the Ozarks all year round. And when I first started coming down here, and I think for a lot of people, they just look at this as a Memorial to Labor Day area. But there is stuff going on and will be going on all year round. You've got lakeexpo.com that you can go to always know what's going on. I take that data, put it into a video version on the Lake of the Ozarks lifestyle channels every single week, never fails. I will always tell you what's happening. Even if it's sparse, I'll still share. There's always something, live music, something going on. So for those of you that just haven't made a point of coming down here in the off season, I tell you what, you and I agree on this. I know the off season is awesome. It's quiet, it's peaceful. You need to come down and check out the Lake of the Ozarks from Labor to Memorial.
Yeah, you get out on this, that's probably an 18-foot pontoon boat with what does he have on there?
That's a 65 horse motor,
65
I think.
horse.
65 or 85.
Having a time of their life. And some of my favorite boating is up here in Anayangua. Look at the blue skies in the rolling hills, green trees.
Doesn't suck, man.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Doesn't suck.
There's the fire tower outlook above Brattle Cave.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what. Let's get into the August market update, and let's see what's going on. But first, let's go park ourselves at Pebble Bay, the new restaurant down here on the Big Nyangwa. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend checking it out. This is gonna be your first time there.
I'm really excited about it. I told Annie yesterday that we were heading here for the update. She goes, I've been wanting to go there for a while now.
We should have invited her. I mean, she's allowed.
I tell you what, we are in a different stage of life right now. We have now 3 soccer practices a week, and trying to keep up with a 15-year-old in his events that he has going on. Thankfully, there's people like you keeping everybody in the know about what's going on and coming up, because between work and kids, oh man.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let's hit this into high gear and let's get there.
Giddy up.
All right, Jesse, we have pulled up. We are docked. We are one of only boats.
One of one.
One of one. Well, yeah, it didn't come to me very quickly. Sitting out here at Pebble Bay Club in Camdenton. It's about the 12-mile marker of the Big Nyangwa. If you're familiar with the Highway 54 bridge that comes out through Camdenton, we're real close to there. This is basically on old Kinderhook property.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how easy is it to get from here from the clubhouse?
Easy. Well, actually, so you know the back entrance? Mm-hmm. You stand up at the top of that hill, I could throw a stone at the back entrance. So you pull out of the back entrance, which is close to where our new villa is going to be.
Yep.
So this is literally walking distance for us.
That's
definitely
awesome.
Golf cart distance. But yeah, we'll probably spend
This place looks fantastic.
We're gonna go check it out here in a minute. I tell you, I will say this: the barbecue is what they're probably known for. Burn-in sandwich, brisket sandwich. I had a brisket omelet the other day. Yeah, it was super healthy. It was good though.
Oh, speaking my language.
It was good. It was good. So let's leave that. Let's set that aside. They'll get their own day in the sun. But let's talk about August and what's to come in the market.
Awesome. Before we get to that, one thing I wanted to do, I put out a lot of these, and we've been getting recognition for that, and we love hearing that wherever we go. Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask to our people that are watching these, out of the what we provide to you, do you have any other questions about the market, things that we don't cover? I feel like sometimes as being a professional realtor and a full-time person, maybe I gloss over things that I'm just used to because I've been here before. Yeah. So in the comments below, if anybody sees this and you have different questions about, you know, this part of the market or that part of the market, let us know what your thoughts are. And also, if anybody knows of any other cool venues that we should shoot at or something like that, let us know on that one. That would be cool. We're always down to see a new place.
And as the coming months, you know, approach, we're going to need to do more indoor stuff. So
yeah, or maybe on a golf course. It's about
that's
that
done.
season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, cool. Let's start out with Lakefront single-family homes for the month of August. New Lakefront properties this August were up 15% over August of 2023 with 121 Lakefront new listings for homes. This was an astonishing fact that I alluded to earlier for you. There are 48% more options for buyers in Lakefront single-family homes this August compared to last August.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
More options, does that mean more sellers or does that mean less buyers? What do you think?
We're getting to that number too.
Okay, all right, perfect.
That was a very astonishing number as well. Let's go to our average sale price. This August was actually down 8.39%. This past month was $662,880 compared to last August. There were 65 Lakefront homes sold this August, just one off from last August. And this part caught me, off guard. Year to date, there has been the same exact number of Lakefront homes sold than last year.
Same as last year.
Same as last year.
To the number?
The number of transactions.
Wow.
Yep.
The irony in that.
That was astonishing because our inventory has been up. Our new listings were up 25% over last year. So buyers have had more options, and they've been exercising that option in purchasing.
Yeah.
Current year-to-date list-to sale price ratio is at 97.3%. Current average days on market for single-family Lakefront homes is 41. Months of supply is currently up to 6.7 months. So if no new Lakefront homes came on the market, it would take 6.7 months to work through the inventory that's currently on there at our current sales rate. We are up, so that 6.7 is up from 6.2 last month. And here's another, just surprising number. This time last year, we were at 4.12 months on our months of inventory.
Wow,
so that's trending up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Lakefront homes for sale by price bracket. In a lot of this stuff, I cover a lot more in my email and send out some more graphs. If anybody wants to be a part of that emailer list, just mention something in the link below or shoot me an email, jesse@lakefrontliving.com. We'll get you signed up so that you get, it's a little bit more detailed information that goes through my monthly emailer. Lakefront homes for sale by price bracket from $300,000 to $499,000. There's 50 available, and that was up 6.3% from last month. $500,000 to $749,000 single-family Lakefront homes, 62. That number is up 38% from last month. So the $500,000 to $749,000.
That's a sweet spot,
38%.
Too. Wow.
Quite a sweet spot. We have a lot of buyers in that market. So buyers, you have a lot of great options right now. $750,000 to $999,000 homes, 41. Actually down 16.3% from last month. So that price bracket's been moving. $1 million to $5 million, 87 homes, up 26% from last month. Wow. And over $5 million, there's 6 homes on the market.
Oh, you actually gave it to them this time.
There's 6 homes on the market.
Wow.
And if you want to see what one of those looks like, I'm sure Jeff has a few links with Annie's listing over. That one is 1208 Brookhaven. And he's got lots of information.
$7.55 million, the coolest woodworking shop you'll ever see in a house.
Man, that thing, I don't know that I've walked through a $7.5 million house here at the lake, and walking into that one was, wow.
It was unique. It was unique.
Wow.
And on acreage, which is very unique, especially in the villages.
Yeah. Man, one of a kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, shifting over to Lakefront condos. New listings this August at 111, which is a 35% rise from August of 2023.
Nice.
And this is a big number. There are 104% more buying options this year compared to last year for our lakefront condo.
I'm not surprised by that based upon what's been going on in the condo world with insurance and all such sorts of things.
Our average sale price for condos was up over 10% this August at $370,098. Sales were down 22% this August over last at 53 condos sold.
They're down though, but also relative to the number of condos for sale. So that's somewhat skewed, I would say.
Well, the number of...
There's a lot more for sale.
Yeah, but our transaction number is down.
It's just the pure number.
Yeah, just the pure number. So last year, August of 2023, there were 68 sold listings. This August, there was 53 sold listings. So the actual number of transactions is down. That number is down almost 17% year to date.
Wow.
Yeah. And the new inventory is up almost 36%. So inventory is going up, sales has gone down. The actual market has shrank. So the amount of dollars that have traded has shrank by almost 12%.
Interesting, because I listed my condo in August and went under contract in August within a week.
Yeah, there's that out there. I helped a buyer purchase a condo for cash at a small condo complex. It was the only 3-bedroom condo available at the time. I just listed another condo over at Spinnaker Point Condos last weekend, and we had multiple offers on it within 7 days.
Yeah.
So there's rhymes and reasons. Your guys' condo is very appealing to the masses.
Why? Size-wise? Or location? What?
It's just nothing crazy.
Yeah.
No crazy like red walls, orange bathrooms, just...
Actually, we do have an orange bathroom.
Do you really?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Okay, well,
Yep. That was crazy.
there's somebody out there that likes an
Our
orange
walls
bathroom.
used to look like, and my wife changed it, but when we first bought it, I immediately changed it to have a Jimmy Buffett feel, like Key West feel, like light blue and yellow, and which I loved, but of course she ended up changing it and making it more neutral. But other than the orange bathroom, that's
other than the orange bathroom. Yeah, no, themes like that, just being updated somewhat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this stuff out there that was built in 08 or 2012, and it still looks like 08 or 2012.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't fetch a top high-end price.
Yeah, because it's such a it requires a unique.
Yeah.
buy. You know what though, we did offer a $900 paint credit.
Okay.
Like we knew it.
Yep.
Like okay, here you go.
Yep. We're just gonna go ahead and throw this out there. You're gonna want to repaint it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's no reason for me to repaint it.
Yeah.
You can paint it your own color.
Yeah, and that's a good point. If as a seller, the vast majority of people that buy down here want to buy it move in ready. 100%. Furniture, paint, they want to move in and use it right away.
And they will pay up for that.
Yeah.
So when we go to list a property, there's measures that we can take. If we've got some time to prep, we have local contacts where we can knock out some of that work. But yeah, between staging and some of the other steps that we do, if you're interested in our tips and tricks and in the magician work that we do in the back scenes, again, reach out to me. We can be happy to go over that with you. So going back in, let's see, sales were down 22% this August over the last at 53 condos sold. We're down almost 17% on the year. 77 fewer condos have sold compared to the same time last year. So where houses are dead even, condos took a bit of a hit this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Month of supply is tracking currently at 8.1 months compared to 7.2 last month, and way up from this time last year at 3.2 months of supply last year. So definitely a different story this year. Current year-to-date list to price sale ratio is at 97.8%. Condos available by room count numbers. 2-bedroom condos, there's 105 available, up 7% from last month. 3-bedroom condos, there's 158 available, up 12% from last month. 4-bedroom condos, 24, up 9% from last month. So
the premium on those 4 beds, huh?
yeah, there's not as many of them out there. They do come at a higher price though too.
Yeah.
Quite an opportunity for buyers. Interest rates are tracking down.
Yep.
I'm sure that you keep an eye a little bit on that stuff. Inventory is rising, providing more options for buyers and room for negotiations. I've seen some projections. I've got some charts on that. We may post up through various entities. I mean, we're going to be looking at high 5s, low 6s.
Yeah.
Coming up pretty soon.
That's what the projections say, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, you know, there's a lot of confusion. Well, we just don't know what the elections are going to bring. Historically, home prices have risen post-election, and interest rates have gone down.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen no matter who gets elected.
Yeah, it's
unless it's Marty Bird. And then I don't know. Then we'll get into a volatile situation.
Everybody will get cleaned out, huh? Yeah. So that was the tale of August. Sellers, it's so much more important in this market to have a strategy and to prepare your home. You're going to be one of many out there in the market. So we have strategies to keep you head and shoulders to stand out from the crowd. And that's, to me, that's really important to keep your days on market down. You've got to be really dialed in to the tune of the market, in not thinking you can fetch outlandish prices. You have to be spot on with your pricing. You go in too high, you're going to be many days on market and chasing the market down. You'll turn into stale fish, and nobody wants to buy stale fish from the market. That's where it's very important to talk to a trusted realtor, a professional in the business that you have interviewed and feel comfortable working and moving forward to.
There's another extra piece too that you didn't mention. Maybe you were going to. I'm going to mention it for you. Is that the eyeballs that you get on listings when you're working with us is Lake Expo, which is the #1 media source down here, and then Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle, which has arguably as many eyeballs as any social channel down here. So it's a lot of attention that we will bring on your property. It's
insane the amount of exposure that, you know, us being partnered with you and pushing those properties out with you between your YouTube,
TikTok,
your
Instagram,
Instagram, all that is so much. We thought we used to do a really good job with our Facebook and social media. Once we got linked up with Lake Expo and then witnessed the exposure that we can get for our sellers was 10 times instantly the amount of eyeballs, which is, and that's one of a kind too, by the way. No other real estate company can do that with Lake Expo, so it is a very unique opportunity. Yeah, we have an exclusive marketing partnership with Lake Expo, and we've also taken on Jeff here to help us out. We need to talk about exclusivity too. Oh, everybody wants a cut. Right out for everyone. Comment below. Do you think we should go exclusive? Oh, yeah. Yep, there's that. You know what? That's a perfect time to go get a drink. I'm sure with the numbers that you're going to be talking about, I'm going to need a drink. Let's go check this place out. Anything else to wrap up August numbers? That's the main thing, is there's just more options. Buyers, you need to have a strategy. Hot properties will go quick. Let's make your property hot if you're interested in selling. I shared a story with Jeff from 2 weeks ago. A potential seller had reached out to us on Facebook, said, hey, we're just starting to think about selling. Would you have somebody contact me? I met them briefly Sunday morning, gave them our information, our pre-listing packet. By Monday, they texted and said, hey, me and my wife talked about it. We want to go ahead and get the condo listed. I said, fantastic. We have a holiday weekend coming up. They said, well, when do you think? Should we, wait a couple weeks? I said, I'm a realtor. We need to get as much exposure as possible on this. We have a holiday weekend coming up. We're going to bust it and get on by the weekend. I had the condo pre-listed by Monday afternoon, staged Tuesday afternoon. Our professional videographer over there Wednesday, and doing showings. That's in addition to me. Thursday. That's another thing. In addition to Jeff, and then by Saturday we had multiple offers on the property, and we were priced very well, and it was a very desirable condo. So a lot of different combinations, but we can make things happen really fast. Or if you just want to discuss and hey, we may be a seller in the future. Maybe it's not right now. I always do at least 2 real estate reviews every week. Reach out to me for that. It takes me about 10-15 minutes to put together a real estate review for your market segment that your property is in. And this will tell you average sales price for that market segment, how many days on market, when the hot seasons actually were, not just somebody saying, well, it's spring and fall.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was 3 of those properties sold in August, and then there was another 2 sold in February, which kind of bucked the trend.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool report I can put together, quickly. If you're, thinking about selling, or you just want to know the value of your property,
Yeah.
like I said, I do at least 2 a week. It takes me 10 minutes. Reach out if you'd like to have something like that.
And if you're cool, you should be selling to buy another one. We don't want to lose you here at the Lake of the Ozarks, because this is the cool lake.
Yeah, everybody's always trading. It's funny to see the cycles. We get new buyers come in, they buy a condo, and they say, "Oh man, the family's grown. We got to get a bigger house." And so they get the bigger house, and you watch the family grow over time.
Yeah.
And then the kids grow up, they move out, they start their own families. Well, not everybody gets to come here as much as what we want. It's a little much maintenance for us. How about we downsize to a condo?
Yeah.
And you go back to a condo, and
It's cool.
foot loose and fancy free. You shut the water off, turn the thermostat up in the wintertime, and
Man,
go down to Florida, enjoy the winters down
Oh.
there, and the lake will be here in the summer when you come back.
that doesn't suck either.
Sounds
love
like
it.
a good plan.
I love it. But not as good as the drink we're about ready to have.
Let's go get it.
Let's do it.